Can a mod pin where's Parker? Parker is still taking a little bit of a break right now. And I just want to say this, you guys. I think that it's a completely like totally valid and justified thing for Parker to be doing. You know, I don't know if maybe some of you guys are a little bit more involved in the community. You've had a chance to read the thing, a chance to read the statement he's put out on Discord, and so forth and so on. I'd say that is it's a good decision that he's making for himself. What am I drinking? I'm drinking an iced Americano. I love my iced Americanos. I've been doing my Americanos, my lattes, and my cappuccinos. But the iced Americano is the easiest to make. What's an Americano? An Americano is a double shot of espresso with water. It's typically made with hot water. However, I do it iced. Has my opinion changed on Payton since I last spoke with him? I think so a little bit. I do. I do think so a little bit. Because listen, like, you know, like his most recent video that he put out was him like advertising a GoFundMe to raise money to build affordable housing. Bad people don't do that. that's only something that good people do, right? It's only something that good people do. And when I saw that, I was like, you know, maybe like some of the conceptions that I have of you know, like Payton having like negative intentions are false. Because, you know, I do think that's something that good people do. If he's going out there and he wants to build affordable housing, I think that's a good idea. But at the same time, I think that maybe like, you know, he has said some things about me, like specifically like that haven't been true. And he said them with conviction. And I mean, I don't appreciate that, right? Like nobody would appreciate people saying things about them that are false. But you said that Parker didn't smoke with Z, but his statement on Discord says he did. So what's the truth? I said that I didn't smoke with Z. He did, and he addressed it on Discord. And I was, you know, like there when he addressed it on Discord. So it's not like I didn't know that. If I came off like I said, otherwise, it's just simply not true. The new question is, are you Indigenous? So I've addressed this in the Discord. I do have Indigenous family. However, like the specifics of that is not something that I like to talk about on the internet. However, it is something that I used to like publicly share on the internet a long time ago, and then inevitably, like there came a live where Indigenous creators on the platform, you know, like asked me for more specific information as it related to like what tribe they're from, and I think that those questions are valid. I think that it's a good thing to like ask that of individuals that claim that on the internet. However, for like personal reasons, I don't want to share that private information publicly on the internet. So I just simply stopped talking about that fact of myself. Like, however, I have shared that private information about like the specific tribe relating to like where my Indigenous family comes from with like trusted community members. Somebody wants to know if you're sorry for all of this. I assume your part in this. Yeah, well, listen, you know, like today I'm addressing, you know, like the new claims made in Payton's news video about me, a like huffing and puffing with Z and then keeping it a secret that she had defrauded employees. And as it relates to like these two claims, like the first claim is false, and then the second claim, you know, isn't necessarily true because I didn't keep it a secret and sweep it under the rug. I actually took that information to an organizer associated with a PAC that had also worked with Z at Soul Strategies, and I asked them to explain the content of the DMs, and then they basically told me that it was false. And I think an apology is in order for not being more mindful of the individuals that I'm doing business with. And I could absolutely agree with that 110%. And I mean, as it relates to like the greater points, where I do believe that I need to take accountability, is the things that I've kind of already spoken about in the course of the last week, specifically as it relates to the involvement of the event to begin with. And yeah, like I do absolutely apologize not only to like my community, but more specifically to like to Black individuals, because I feel as if being complacent with you know, like what Z did originally, as I stated, you know, 4 or 5 days ago, perpetuates a lot of harm. That is 110% true. As part of the plan to platform more Black creators in the future, because that would be good. Yeah, you know, as I've already kind of spoken about, like this new content strategy that we're working up, it's going to include like discussion about more things than just debates with Trump supporters. However, you know, but like more so also focused on, you know, what's going on in the breaking news, and then like particular like social issues that don't get talked about as much in these conversations with Trump supporters. And I think that will obviously include a lot of issues, not just in America, but on the global scale, that relate to like racism. And I think that it is incredibly important to acknowledge and hear like the perspective of Black individuals as it relates to anti-Black racism in America, because you know, you're no matter what, lived experiences is like insurmountably more valuable than being educated on something that you can't personally experience. So yeah, 100%. Are you still good with Parker? Yeah, yeah. What do I think about the new Pope? Pope Leo the 14th. Pope Leo the 14th. Did you say that me and Parker got paid for the event? Yeah. And you know, this was something I talked about on Discord a little bit ago. So the PAC only paid me and Parker. Parker and I, not me and Parker. Parker and I. That's kind of cringe. It's kind of weird, you know. Like I think like one could argue that you know, like maybe like the headliners of an event that are gonna like either bring more people to the event or be able to market the event more online can like justifiably have like higher wages. But like I think even if you accept that, like the implication there is that individuals that are still going to the event and engaging with the event like still deserve to be paid, even if like wages are lower than the headliners. But to say like that only 2 individuals deserve pay, then nobody else does. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Poor organizational choice. Do you know anybody aside from Pickles who had to pay their way? No. No, I don't. I do know that Pickles did. Dean, can you do a Q&A soon? I guess that we're doing a Q&A right now. Please pin, why are you 2 the only ones that got paid? I guess it'd more so be a question for like the organizers of the event. So if you want to go ask Z that, feel free. Now I could like assume it's because we are the headliners of the event. But that yeah, you know, that's more so going to be a question for Z. Did I know that my name is still being used on the UFA donation page? Bro, really? Dude, you're joking. You're joking. Let me pull it up real quick. Unfuckamericatour.com. Donate. Don't see there. Okay. That might actually not be true. About? I actually don't see it on there. W. Dean, can we see Momo, please? I'm pretty sure that Momo is downstairs right now. That's not true. I made sure they took it down. Oh, awesome. Yeah, somebody else made sure that they took it down. That's awesome. Please pin, are you still on good terms with other creators on the tour? Well, to be honest, I haven't really talked to like many other people, not just creators on the tour, but just like in general the last couple days. It's more so been a time that I've taken for introspection compared to conversations with others. You know, like I think that like some relations have been damaged, and some are still very strong. You know, I think it's like very dependent upon like the specific creator. Please pin. Can you address Payton's video? Yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing. You know, the whole stream so far. I think that I'll kind of go over like the 2 points that were made in his most recent video, which was that I huffed with Z, and then I also like kept it a secret and swept it under the rug when somebody informed me that she had defrauded ex-employees. So in response to the first point, it's just simply false. It's not true. It never happened. I did not huff with Z at all. Not true. In response to the second point, you know, like I've kind of reiterated this a couple times, but I will respond and kind of reiterate it again for everybody new that's joining in. So an ex-employee did reach out to me. Thank you for the money gun on Instagram, and they claim that she was a fraud. Because I wanted to know who I was going into business with and working with, I've then, you know, responded to that DM and I asked them for more information surrounding their claim. They then provided that given information, and then I turned around and I took that information to another organizer of the tour that had also worked with Z on Soul Strategies. I had them confirm that it was indeed an ex-employee, and then I gave them all the information provided, and I essentially asked them to explain the information that was provided to me. They offered an explanation and justified all screenshots provided, said that nobody's gone unpaid and that individuals are indeed paid for their time. And I did, like, at the time, like, tentatively believe what they were saying. You know, clearing the air on a couple points to maybe people that would say I didn't care about the information that I had received, because that's kind of like what Payton had painted it out to be, that I didn't care, I kept it a secret. Well, I would have never responded to the DM in the first place if I didn't care. And then secondly, you know, if the claim was true that I did believe that Z was a fraudster and I just simply didn't care, and we're just purely examining reasons of self-interest, you know, as I've already pointed out, I myself was contracted by the PAC and by her, meaning I would have acknowledged and believed that I myself was at risk of being defrauded. So it wouldn't have made any sense for me to continue to promote and go on the tour. So like I did genuinely believe that their explanation was justified at the time and true, and that she hadn't defrauded anybody. But now, like in retrospect, I think that that's likely false. And my big takeaway is that I should just be extremely more critical about who I'm doing business with. 110%. 110%. Please pin, how's Matt? I think Matt's doing all right. Matt's doing all right. Am I still in good terms with Athena and Jaden? Well, I really love and look up to both Athena and Jaden. Please pin. What about tokenizing Athena? I mean, I don't think that I've tokenized Athena. And I think it's maybe even possible that Athena's in the live right now. If Athena, you know, if Athena wants to respond to that, Athena, feel free. But I don't think I've tokenized her. And as far as I'm aware, like, she doesn't think I've tokenized her either. Please pin, what is your opinion on Johnny? And what he's been doing? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you know, like I've kind of just been taking this time to like introspect upon myself. Now, like obviously, I haven't spoken with Johnny at all since the event, just because I've kind of been taking time to step back and introspect upon myself. Yeah. So I mean, once I like, you know, inevitably, like I'm able to take more time invested into the investigation of other individuals, I could give more of a formed opinion about Johnny. And of course, like that will be like done before, you know, like I collaborate or co-host. If I were, I should more so say if I collaborate, co-host, or talk to him at all, you know, like I'd be very informed about, you know, the claims made about him. Anyways, why did I hide my Starbucks? So I talked about this earlier. So I stopped drinking Starbucks maybe like, I don't know what, like September of last year. Then November of last year, I got my own at-home espresso setup. So I even stopped going to other local coffee shops. On the day of the event, I think the night beforehand, I had gotten around 4 hours of sleep, and the organizers had offered Starbucks to all of the creators. When I was given Starbucks, I was standing in front of an audience with cameras on me, and I didn't want to promote the brand, so I asked that it was placed in a different cup. I don't drink Starbucks under typical circumstances. However, I did under the atypical circumstances. However, I just didn't want to further promote the brand. New question. Why did you say you're at a net negative with a tour if you were compensated? Yeah, so when I said that, I didn't... I had been compensated for around 3/10 of my time there. However, the remaining 7/10 had not been paid to me yet. And I said, like right now I was at a net negative, which was true. And I just genuinely didn't believe that they were gonna like compensate me for the rest. Because at that point, that was like when we already figured out that she had ran away with a lot of the money. And, I thought that she was gonna run away with that too. But of course, they surprisingly, I'm still surprised by this. They actually did end up they did end up paying me the rest. So I'm no longer at a net negative. Quite frankly. What happened to Parker debating your mom? Damn, somebody in here's been watching forever. Holy crap. That's crazy that you remember that. That's nuts. Holy shit. That was like forever ago. Holy cow. All right, chat. What are y'all feeling? Should we answer a couple more questions? Should we hop into the debates? What do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to do? Cooking with Dean, I feel like that's definitely a fringe perspective. I feel like the last thing we do right now is is cooking with Dean. Quite frankly, it's the case. Talk to non-ops. Maybe we just do both. I don't know. Somebody says sing a song, do mukbang. Please pin. Why are people calling you racist and that you don't care? Also, is Payton in the wrong? Okay, so to respond to the first claim about why people are calling me racist, I'd actually like to figure that one out myself. Is there anybody in the chat that thinks I'm racist that wants to come up here and tell me why? Like I say we figure out. Yeah. Because we'd have to ask them, right? We'd have to ask them. And that I don't care. I don't know what that's in reference to. To the last part, if I think that Payton's in the wrong. So I mean, I think that like multiple things could be true at once, and I think that this has kind of been really extorted by like a lot of people on the internet, because there's been like moments where I've referenced like bad things that I believe that Payton has done, etc. And then they've kind of like taken that to create the narrative that I just hate Payton because he called out racism, and I think that he's in the wrong because he called out racism. And that's not true. And I told this to Payton himself. I actually do think that Payton has done a lot of good. I think that Payton has promoted necessary messages and pushed out necessary information that needs to be pushed out, and I could actually really appreciate that from him, as well as like the GoFundMe for building affordable housing. I think that's awesome. I think that is seriously epic. However, like I do think that there's been a few things that he's done that's wrong, and I've kind of clarified on those, but I think that like that's just some minority of the claims. Like I think it was wrong for him to like report that I had like done the lettuce with Z when that just wasn't true. You know what I mean? I wish that he would have been a little bit more like skeptical about that claim, because he even said at the beginning of his videos that he's like been able to prove everything he's going to say with like firsthand and secondhand accounts. Okay, well, there was only one account to justify that claim. So I wish that he would have like uphold the standard of evidence that he set for that claim. Like, come on. because that just wasn't true. But I don't think he had negative intention in doing so. I'd be more critical of whoever texted that to him compared to him compared to him and of himself. Mm. Am I worried I'm going to get in trouble for criticizing the president? I feel like 2 weeks ago I would have said no. But I did see that a lot of like larger conservatives on X were calling for Aaron Parnas to be prosecuted. Like that was kind of crazy. They were like adding Pam Bondi, getting like a lot of attention and a lot of likes. Telling her to prosecute Aaron. When I saw that was pretty nuts. That was pretty nuts. Fox attacked him on air. Dude, that's crazy. That's pretty nuts. I did not know that. They arrested him. Dude, Jesus Christ. Actually, can you guys, okay. Tell me the big headlines from like the last 5 days. Give me the big headlines from the last 5 days. What's been going on? What have I missed out on? New Pope? Okay. No, okay. I'm aware of the Pope. Pope Leo the 14th. Dean is racist and hypocritical. I say you get your booty up on this live. Accept that invitation, Frosty. India versus Pakistan? Oh, dude. Okay, yeah. What the fuck is going on with that?
Yo,
okay?
what's up?
I did
What
see
up,
that. Well, 1 second, Frosty. I did see the headline that apparently India had bombed Pakistan and then Pakistan retaliated. I need to look more into that. Yeah. What's going on, man? How old are you?
Yo, okay, so I'm 16.
Okay, goodbye.
How you doing?
Get out of here. Gotta be at least 18. Charlie said that there's gray area to consent. You know what? I did see that clip. It's gross. It was gross, man. It was gross. I feel like for a lot of things that like conservatives say, I could like try to put myself in their shoes and see how like they reason that internally and like then just merely critique that internal reasoning because I believe it's not sufficient or not good. I believe that's maybe why I'm all right at debating. But then there's like some shit that people say like that, and I just don't get it at all. Do I still talk to Z? Fuck no. No. Are you kidding me? Z hates me. I'm not her biggest fan either. Absolutely not. Trump Pope AI. That was gross, dude. I don't even know how like Catholics can see that and still defend him. Any Jubilee videos in my future? I don't think that Jubilee likes me. I don't think that Jubilee like allows me on their set anymore. I kind of upset one of their producers a while back. Jubilee loves you? Okay. I see you, guy. You'd have a better inclination than me because I know that you've been on a couple. Okay, now I might be wrong because somebody that has been on a couple of their videos, that has a pretty decent idea, says that they love me down below in that chat. Let's see. Pakistan attacked India. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Okay, so Pakistan attacked India. A mayor got arrested. Trump puts out an AI image of himself being a pope. Some crazy conservative influencer goes on Piers Morgan and says that she's racist. What else am I missing out on here? Pakistan didn't attack India. India attacked Pakistan. Okay. Alcatraz. Oh yeah, he wants to reopen Alcatraz. He's a Marvel villain. What, dude? How can you hear that and be like, that's a good idea? Or how can you hear that and even be like, I'm just gonna ignore that and move on? You know, like that's just like some Marvel villain shit, dude. Oh man, I don't even know. Oh, I don't even know. Wow. Can we play tic-tac-toe? Oh god, the flashbacks. The flashbacks. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. Okay. I think it's time to hop into some debates. What do you guys think? Is the time come? Has the time come? Is there is there any other questions? Is there anything else that we should address or go over? Somebody in the chat says you can't be serious. Well, I am. Don't know what that's about. No. Let's see. Because I want to give an opportunity. Don't debate yet. Debate. Somebody says, do I like cars? I love cars. Somebody says you're racist. Debate me? Damn. Okay. You guys want to hear from somebody that thinks I'm racist? I kind of want to understand the perspective. Dean versus MAGA Tic-Tac-Toe tournament? Craziness. Hey.
Hey,
Okay.
how are you?
It was just a 12-year-old boy. It was just a 12-year-old boy. Okay. All right. Yeah, sometimes I sometimes I need to remember. Sometimes I need to remember who's in my chat. A New Jersey mayor. Yeah, I'm going to need to look into the New Jersey mayor thing. Because this actually is my first time hearing about it. Somebody in the chat says come to the conservative side. Why the fuck would I do that? Why would I just like willingly choose to be like the worst version of myself possible? Like, dude, come to the dark side. Jesus Christ. Disassociation? I don't know what that's in reference to. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What should we do? What should we do? What should we do? What should we do? I'm a little lightheaded. Debate, cooking live, tic-tac-toe, mods ban 'em. Play Fortnite, don't have it updated. That Americano. Yeah, this Americano's definitely kicking in. I'm like, well, if you're like shaking, I'm all jittery and shit. Somebody in the chat says, Dean, eat a pub cup to redeem yourself. Mods, take care of them. Take care of the mods, please. Thank you. Debate. All right. Let's see it. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how it goes. If you support the current administration, hop in that queue for me. We'll get you up on the live. Let's do it. Quite frankly. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, wait 1 second. A lot of people are very upset with me for considering doing some debates. If Dean does debates, I'm tapping out. Okay. Of course we are. Okay. Yeah, I want to hear you guys out. There's a lot of people that are like very upset with me for the idea of doing debates. I want to hear an explanation of the view. Because like right now, like I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know if I don't know if I understand the view. And the reason I say that, the reason I don't know if I understand the view that it'd be inappropriate for me to do debates is, because I've spent like the last like week or so talking about things, and I think that it's going to continue to be a continued conversation, and I actually do think that's a good thing. I think that a continued conversation about these things is a very good thing. That's why I'm here right now. That's why I'm talking to the chat, and I think it's a great thing. I really do. And I've kind of taken, I don't know, like at this point, like 4 or 5 days to kind of retrospect upon my actions, what I've engaged in, and where I've misstepped. And I've hosted 2 or 3 lives now dedicated to referencing and discussing the tour. And, like, I guess my question would be, at what point is it appropriate to go back to having conversations and debating Trump supporters? Yeah. Debate. I don't know. Maybe we could talk about things for a little bit longer, because I'm guessing if like there's a lot of people that think that it would be inappropriate for me to like do debates right now, or like probably individuals that think that there's more things that deserve to be addressed. Like what is there to address? Do a poll? Take a vote? Something like that. Well, I mean, I obviously think I know which direction the poll would lean in the TikTok stream. Matt's in the queue. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? I saw that you're in the queue. How you doing?
I am okay. How are you doing today after drinking your iced Americano? Is that caffeine starting to pulse through your system yet?
Yeah. Like I'm a little jittery for sure. Kind of lightheaded. I've noticed this phenomena whenever I get in the studio. I have these 2 big old lights that are beaming at me, and I
Yep.
think that these bright lights, like for whatever reason, make me feel lightheaded. And mixing that with, just like not enough food or sleep in like the last week with some coffee, it's definitely an interesting feeling. I'll tell you that much.
I bet. I don't drink coffee, so I am sure that if I packed down as much as you're drinking, it would make my heart explode. So I'm glad that, so I just came up to see what you wanted to do going forward, if you wanted to address some more stuff, because if you wanted to talk to people directly, I know some people who are in the queue I can add up if you want to talk to them. I'm not going to like push any boundaries or anything. I just want to bring it up. Or if you just want to move and just say fuck it and just, move on and do your own thing. So I'm just offering that if you want to address people directly, I have names. So it's up to you. And I'll take yes or no for an answer. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm simply offering because I know names. So that's all. That's the only reason why.
Chat, do you guys want to hear from maybe one or two people? Yeah? That sound good? I think that'd be worth it.
Okay. All right. Let me find them real quick, and I will add them up. Or I add one person up, and then I will drop, and I'll let you take it away. So let me just find the person here.
Dude, holy fuck, dude! I'm so sorry. I'm really confused with what is going on in the Discord. People are like ripping me to shreds, calling me a clown because I said I thought it'd be worth it, and that I said, "Chat, would you like to hear from two people?" Dude, I'm like so confused. What's going on?
You've missed quite a bit, so that's why I'm offering because
fucking hell.
I said it's up to you. I'm not pushing it. It's totally up to you.
No, yeah, I'd love to
Okay.
get two people up here. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, okay, all right. Just give me 1 second, okay? And I'll add somebody. I just have to find them in this long queue. Here we go. Oh no, where'd they go? If you're in the queue, stay in the queue because don't like move around and shit because it's hard for me to find you amongst the people. Oh, there they are. There. Okay. All right, here you go. I'm gonna drop.
God, thank you. Nique's
I'm gonna
back,
drop.
y'all.
All right.
Hi,
Bye-bye.
Dean.
See you, Matt. Hey, we had a conversation around a week ago. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
That's good to hear. All right, take it away. I understand that you'd like to have a conversation about a handful of things. Feel free to run your thoughts by me.
Well, it's not too much. I just wanted to reiterate the last thing I said about debating after like heavy topics because I know you disagreed with me. You did. You disagreed with me last time, but hear me out. If people are saying don't debate over and over again, maybe you should hear me out, you know?
You know what, actually? Yes. This would be a worthwhile conversation. I want to hear your reasoning. And if I disagree with you, I'm going to give you my reasoning, and let's have a conversation about it.
Okay, so first, for me to actually understand where you're coming from, can you explain to me why you want to debate so bad after these things so I could just have an understanding?
So here's my perspective. For like the last week or so, we've been talking about the tour, and I think that the conversation that has been held in this space as well as other spaces on the internet has been very beneficial. It's been a very good thing for the most part, and incredibly beneficial, incredibly productive. I've said this about the conversations that I've had on prior lives that I've hosted, as well as other lives that I've gone on, such as the live where I spoke to the actual women in which Z had used microaggressions against. I spoke to them for 2 hours, and I thought it was an incredibly productive conversation. These conversations have continued, and I like that. I think it's a good thing to have like transparency. I think it's a good thing to be able to recognize where I've went wrong, hold myself accountable, while also pointing out bits where I don't believe I've gone wrong or misinformation that's being shared. And I think that is a great thing. Also, chat, calm the fuck down, okay? Like, let us have this conversation. Just calm down, chat. And I think at this point, I've now I've addressed like new information in which has been reported, and I've had a conversation with the stream for over an hour about it at this point, and I've kind of like asked for one second. Somebody says Dean telling the chat to calm down is wild. People were literally telling the chat others to mass report. Nique, of course I'm going to tell people to calm down. Anyways, I'm sorry, I forget where I left off. And at this point, I think that, kind of addressed the claims that were made in Payton's new video. I've pointed out where I believe that there's been tidbits of misinformation, as well as where I've went wrong, as well as to add on more context. And I have, taken questions from the chat. And I guess at this point, because I mean, I guess I just wouldn't see anything wrong with kind of segueing into some conversations with people on the right at this point.
Okay. So I agree with you with this whole situation. I'm not gonna lie, like the situation is going on very long, but I understand it's because new things are coming out and oh, this person said this and this person said that. So I understand that, you got to keep addressing things, but I feel like if people weren't lying so much, it would just be done. You know what I mean? Like, I know y'all are tired of this, hearing about this tour over and over again, and y'all already had y'all apologies and stuff, but I just came to reinstate my main point is that you do not have to debate after everything, especially like what I said last time. You're debating people's lives. These are people's real lives. And I feel like you debating after racist allegations and stuff like that, it feels dismissive. And I get that you're trying to help, but it doesn't look good. And I want you to, because I don't know how to explain it, y'all. It's just, it looks tone deaf. It looks strange. It looks a little weird. And I get that it's not you. You're trying to help, but it looks weird. Can anyone, does anyone see where I'm coming from with this?
Yeah, then I'll also just ask the chat, to be a little kinder.
Y'all can chew me out if y'all want to chew me out. I understand I'm not explaining myself in the best way, y'all. I'm sick today, so please don't chew me out too much. I'm a Dean fan. I've been watching y'all since I've been watching Parker since 2021. I've been watching you when you made your debut or whatever. But yeah, it's just, it looks a little weird and it feels weird and it feels like you really don't care. And it feels like, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the real thing and let's debate and let's get back to what we were doing. It just doesn't feel humane. And it feels like you're doing it for clips.
Okay. Here's my perspective in response to that. I think I can acknowledge, understand, and see how that critique could have applied maybe 3 days ago. As it related to when this news had first broke. I hosted my first live with the rest of the panel. I had taken questions and had a conversation with Sam, and then the day after that I followed that up with another live having conversations about the tour, and then I ended that day by going on the live of the original individuals in which Z had used microaggressions against, and then the next day I took the day off, and then the next day after that I also took the day off. And then the day after that, I came back. I did a live, and then I took yesterday off, and then I'm back today. And then for the last hour and a half, I've also been talking about things. And I guess my question to you would be, at what point do you think it is acceptable and or permissible, for me to go back to having conversations with
the next day, or you end the live and then do another live or something like that. But to do it right after is kind of wild. Do it a different time. Just don't do it right after. Do it tomorrow or something. You know what I mean? If it keeps getting derailed every time you try to debate back to the tour, just don't debate. And also, I feel like you need to stand up for yourself as well, because also, some of these things that people are demanding are kind of crazy too. You do not have to address every little small thing. The Starbucks thing was kind of weird, and someone explained it to me in the Discord, and then I was like, oh, okay. But if someone asks you, Dean, why did you wear white socks instead of black socks? Are you a white supremacist? You don't need to address that. If it's unnecessary to address, don't address it, because we're gonna be here, we're gonna be stuck here forever. Address the Z thing, address the main points that address racism, and then move on. Because at this point, it's making the left look bad, it's making us look bad. But also the debating thing, if it's a constant reoccurrence where people are mad at you for debating, maybe you should hear them out.
What the fuck? I'm so sorry. Somebody in my Discord just said somebody needs to unalive this girl. Oh! Right click, ban. What the fuck?
Not the y'all, please.
Right. Yeah, guys. That's
wait.
fucking nuts.
Wait,
They're
hold
banned.
on.
Okay, well they're banned. Okay, they're banned. They got banned incredibly quickly. I'm gonna repeat this. I'm gonna need y'all all to calm the fuck down.
Not y'all hating on me. I'm just speaking my opinion. Just because I say it does not mean like you do not have to take anything I say serious. It's just a suggestion. Just like how last time I said it, it was a suggestion. But apparently, a lot of people agree with me in my suggestion that debating after allegations is bad. And I don't think I'm crazy for this. Should we be debating after allegations? Y'all, I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe not.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying, and I want to see if like this is maybe like the middle of the road. So you're saying like debating after allegation of like racism coming from Z with the use of microaggressions, and then me being complacent with that, still decided to go on the tour, and then like the fallout of that following the tour. I actually agree with you, and you know that's why I spent 2 days in a row like discussing that, pointing out where I believe I went wrong, and then inevitably talk to the individuals in which you know, Z had used the microaggressions against, and then I took 2 days off, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of, you know, let's address things, let's have an honest conversation about it. You know, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'm gonna observe where I went wrong, and then like the 2 following days that I took off, that was kind of when I introspected upon myself, you know, off of the internet, in a space where I could dedicate like my focus to myself, and you know, like genuinely like take a deeper dive into like thinking back on my own actions. Now, like today, for instance, you know, like the topic of discussion, the things that are being addressed, aren't claims of racism, but are like rather claims of me doing the devil's lettuce with Z and brushing
Not the
like
devil's lettuce.
not the devil's lettuce, and then like brushing like the claim under the rug that that she defrauded ex-employees, right? And I feel
Oh
like
yeah, I saw that. I saw a whole thing on Payton's video, and I'm actually low key. I'm kind of proud of you. Like that first girl that's completely blatantly lied and said, "Guys, I stood on business and I had arguments with people in the group chat," and then it turned out to be completely the opposite. And we're supposed to be trusting these people with a movement. I'm kind of happy that it wasn't you, because we already been through this with you with slurs and this, that, and the third. And I'm so glad that you actually stood on business and you actually turned out to not be racist. So congrats for that. Not really, but like I'm just kind of, you know. But also I'm just happy it wasn't you, because God forbid it was you. I would have crashed out. But anyway.
yeah, I know just as much as the rest of the internet does as it relates to Andrea. And I guess like where I'm going with this is saying, you know, like today, you know, I took time to point out the fact that it's actually not true that I did the devil's lettuce with Z. That claim was false. And then the claim that I brushed it under the rug and kept it a secret, that I had like been informed that she defrauded ex-employees,
Yeah.
also isn't true. And then I gave the further context of how you know, like I responded to that DM to inquire for more information because I did care about the claim, and then I took the information provided to me back to the organizers of the event that had also worked with Z through Soul Strategies, and asked them to explain it. And at the time, I believe that they sufficiently explained the claims, and I believe that, you know, she had not defrauded ex-employees. And kind of where I went wrong is kind of the overwhelming motive that I've been talking about for the last week of just doing more due diligence about who I'm working with, right? And how that is absolutely true. And I guess like in my mind, you know, like addressing like these 2 things specifically, I don't see it as like, you know, like I guess like performative or wrong in a sense to then say, all right, you know, like we've talked about that. Now let's talk to some Trump supporters. Because like the first claim about me smoking the devil's lettuce was false, and then the second claim just required more context. And in retrospect, you know, it isn't true that I like kept her defrauding employees a secret.
Okay, but also can I wait, I low-key forgot what I was gonna say. Can I address one thing real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember it. It was something about like a lot of a pattern that I'm noticing with what's going on with you. I feel like it's something happened where you should have said something and you didn't say anything. Like first of all, with the the you going on the trip anyway because like something about the fans, and then you getting Starbucks and then putting it in the cup, and then you hearing that she committed fraud and then you just didn't say anything. I feel like in moments like this, when you're like an advocate or activist or whatever the case may be, you really gotta stand up for something, even if it makes you look crazy. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're the only one and you realize, hey, this something seems fishy, even if it makes you look crazy in the moment, you just got to stand up and be like, no, this is weird. What's going on? Because now, if you had addressed that small little thing, all these big things that are being uncovered now could have got uncovered then. And it's not your burden to bear, but at the same time, if we're trusting y'all with the movement and like a revolution or whatever the case may be, it would be nice for you to like fight for some of the things we would expect for you to fight for when we can't. You know what I mean? Like we're trusting y'all with the movement.
Yeah. I think as it relates to like the claim of fraud, you know, like hindsight is 2020. We now all have reason to believe that like her defrauding employees is likely, right? And like the reason for us to believe that she has defrauded, like the claim that she's defrauded employees is likely, regardless of like the justification or explanation that may be offered by the PAC or Soul Strategies, is the fact that, you know, seemingly she's ran away with like 100K, right? Seemingly she's paid herself like 95K. You know,
Yeah.
and sent money into like massage parlors in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know what I mean? So it's like hindsight is 2020 now, right? We have sufficient reason to believe that the claim was likely. However, at the time, you know, I didn't have any external reason to believe that she had defrauded employees, and the justification offered by other individuals associated with the organization to me was sufficient for me to believe that that had not occurred. And that's why I didn't like speak about it or inform other employees, because the first step was to say, okay, an ex-employee is accusing her of defrauding employees. Let me get more information from this ex-employee. And then when I got that information, I then turned around and I talked to somebody else, not Z herself, because, you know, she'd have self-interest in like denying the claims regardless if they're true or not. But I rather went her on the Unfuck America tour, but also associated with her at Soul Strategies. And they had offered an explanation to make me believe that that had not occurred, right? And I think that like my main takeaway is that I should, like as it relates to this specifically, just like be more critical in the future of who I'm doing business with to like an insane degree. In fact, I'll even say that I've already had conversations about literally like hiring people on to like further investigate like potential business opportunities or individuals that I'll be working with.
Yeah. Can I address two more things and then I'm done? Sorry if I sound incoherent, y'all. I'm literally in pain. Sorry.
Yeah, and
But
before you do, just real quick, for everybody in the chat, if y'all could just be like a little bit more chill, that'd be kind. You know, like Nique is being kind. She has her concerns, but she, you know, she's addressing them in a very good faith manner. We're having a conversation. Y'all should be a little bit more kind. But go ahead.
it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, I was gonna say one thing that I forgot to say last live is probably hire a team. I think you're at that point where you need a team because, like, I feel like a team would address, you know, more of this legal stuff and accusations and whatnot. If you had a team, I feel like this would have went way more smoothly. But like debaters, especially in this day and age, it's a new thing. And y'all are independent. Y'all aren't under any like y'all are not under any news thing or anything like that. So I feel like a team would help y'all, especially with like I know it's affecting like y'all mental health and stuff like that. And I don't want y'all to keel over because of some not drama. Obviously racism isn't drama, but I don't want y'all to keel over y'all career. So maybe hire a team. And also, what else was I gonna say?
So I actually have a team already. However, there's like been certain things that I didn't involve them in, like the Unfuck America tour.
Oh.
And this was something that you know, a conversation that I had on the back end that wasn't public. Following the tour, you know, one of the first things that happened was I talked with my team, and they were like, "This is why you should involve us." This is why you
Clock
should
it.
talk
Not
to
the team
us.
clocking you.
This is why, this is a predominant amount of the value that we can provide to yourself. Yeah, and they ate down. They did. They ate down. 100%.
Okay, and one more thing. I wanted to address, a lot of people are asking what is the best time to debate. And to be honest, there is no right time. It's up to you, which is why whenever people come up to you and be like, "Oh, the time is wrong. The time is wrong," it's because you have to know when the right time is, and obviously you're not knowing. So I feel like, I don't know how to explain when you're gonna know the right time to debate is. It's just it's a humanity thing. You have to know, okay, people aren't gonna get offended by this. People aren't gonna feel dismissed. It's like, I guess it's something you have to work on internally, where you're knowing that you're not gonna offend people by talking after allegations. Cause it's like I don't want to say it's an emotional thing, but it's a humane thing to not, it's just a respectful thing to not use the same people that you're defending allegations against as talking points. Like, Black people were offended by the microaggressions. Let's start using Black people as talking points to why Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump is that. It's just, it feels like people are being used.
Just like individuals are being used. I mean, do you feel like me, directly relating to Z's comments, discussing that for 2 days on live and then ending it off with a conversation specifically with the women that were impacted, then taking 2 days off and having continued conversation about the two on a broader scale, is, sufficient to say, well, let's keep talking about it. Let the conversations continue, but let's at this point, I'm also going to shift some of my focus back to discussing the fascist regime we've run in the country.
I feel like if you talked about it already, maybe make a video on it so you don't have to keep doing it on live. Make a video addressing, like, okay, y'all, let me lay this all out, and then dead it. Like, once you address everything in a video, dead it. Like, it's done. Because when the thing with live is, you're gonna be repeating yourself. Like you said, you repeated the Starbucks thing over and over. Maybe you need to have a James Charles sit down moment where you just address everything. Maybe we need a Bye Sisters moment where you just sit down and address it in a video, and then it's done. Because this is gonna keep on going. Like, I spoke to you, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was around a week ago. Funny that you say this, because I also repeated this earlier, which is further proving your point, is that I, me and my team have been me and my production team have been considering making a video kind of for that reason. So, I mean, like, when concerns arise, there's just a video that it can be referenced to.
Yeah.
And then it also allows there to be like a concrete place on the internet where like my perspective lives. And that doesn't really exist when, we're just kind of discussing these things on live, etc. But I will say, like, I think that we have a meeting on Tuesday. And I think at that point, that's like when we'll kind of determine if that's the direction that we want to head in or not. And I'd also like to clarify, because I've seen people saying that, oh, if Dean doesn't do this, it's because he just wants it to fly under the radar and he's doing it out of reasons of self-interest. Well, all reasons of self-interest would indicate that a video would be a good idea, because then I get to share my perspective on things and other individuals don't get to speak for my perspective. And it'd actually be more beneficial for my own reputation if I were to make a long-form video. So, like, the reason why I haven't made a video yet is not out of reasons of self-interest. Yeah. And then, like, additionally, I feel like maybe it's a good idea to have another conversation, maybe take a couple comments from the chat. But I think that, like, I guess, like, at this point, going back into the debates and having some conversations with Trump supporters isn't like the like, I guess I understand your perspective, but simultaneously I feel as if, we've already given time to these things, and I think that continued conversation is good. But I guess I just don't see, like, a problem with me talking to Trump supporters today.
It's just that people that experience racism don't want to hear Trump supporters in their ear right after that. And I know we could leave the live, but we're fans and we want to stay. So Yeah, it's just like an insensitive. It feels insensitive and dismissive, in that you don't really care. But if we know you care, but it's just it don't look right. Is all.
Okay. So to the claim that it feels insensitive and as if I don't really care. Um, well, earlier, like, you'd kind of pointed out that the appropriate thing to do is to have a conversation about this on a live stream, talk about the things that have been done, discuss where I need to hold myself accountable, then give it some time and then get back into the debates. I guess from my perspective, that's what I've done for the last week. How do you feel about like the claim that that's exactly what I've kind of done for the last week?
Can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry.
Like, what are your feelings on my claim that what you're saying, like, given it time, following conversations about these things, is that that's what I've done for the last week?
I'm not gonna hold you. I was working last week, like this whole week,
Okay.
and I wasn't really
Okay.
paying attention. Like I was here for like the tic tac toe, you losing tic tac toe, but other than that, I didn't see anything else about the tour, and I was just here for some of the debates.
Okay.
But I wasn't really watching that much. I'm sorry. Did I miss some? Did I miss everything, y'all?
Don't apologize for not watching my streams. That's don't do that.
sorry.
Don't do that. And nobody shit on her for not watching my streams. That's you're a person with a life. I get that. But I think that, A, this is yet another reason why it may be a good idea for me to make a video, but B, like kind of reflecting on the last week. So immediately following the videos that were released, I hosted a 3-hour live with a panel and then just myself going over things. And then the next day, I then hosted another live about it, having more conversations, and then ended the day by going on the live of the Black creators who were originally impacted.
Oh yeah, I
And then
saw
I took
that. I saw the live with you and Geek, and then
and then I took a couple days off, and then I came back for a day for 2 hours. Then I took another day off, and then here I am. So I guess like from my perspective, I dedicated in total maybe around like 6 hours to discussion surrounding where I went wrong, rehashing events, and having conversations with members of like the greater like Dinosphere, as well as conversations with members of like the Black community in America, specifically those on TikTok, and the individuals that were directly impacted by Z and her claims. And I kind of gave it time, not only so it's not perceived as if I'm being insensitive by coming back and doing debates, but also so I had genuine time to reflect upon myself. And then I'm back here today. So it's like when you tell me that the correct thing to do is to have these discussions and then give it time, and then go back into the debates. I guess like my perspective is that's what I've done in the last week.
yeah, and I totally understand that. It's like if you're on a live, you're going to be addressing it over and over because it's a live audience. There's going to be people leaving and new people coming in, which is why I said to make a video so you can just say, instead of having to derail a debate live and then talk about it over and over again for like 2 weeks now, you can make a video addressing everything. Oh, there's a lot of new people in here. Refer to my pinned video. And then you won't have to go to basically a topic that's very serious and then make it seem like you're insensitive to want to debate after.
Yeah. And I mean, I hear that from you as well as other individuals that making a video is a good idea. And I actually think that there's a lot of good reasons to make a video. I could agree there. Now, outside of like making a video, because I've kind of like went over that, do you think, given the information that I just shared with you, that I'd still yet be insensitive from your perspective if I were to go on and have some debates with Trump supporters today?
Well, that's me personally. I'm not everybody, you know what I mean? So, but you shouldn't also do a vote. I don't speak for all Black people. I don't speak for everyone. It's just that a lot of people have a problem with it. Me as well. So I'm just stating my opinion. At the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're your own person. This is your thing. This is your life. It's just a suggestion. So I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to boss you around and say, if you go on live, this. No. It's just that as a Black person, one Black person out of many Black people, it feels insensitive. And someone else may come up and totally disagree with me and make me look crazy, make me look stupid, and call me this. Like, that's fine. I'm just saying, as a Black person that watches you, been watching you for a long time, it feels weird. And I feel like this is multiple times that you've done this.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate you for your perspective. And I think that my perspective is like I have strength in my perspective that I do feel like I've spent a considerable amount of time addressing the events as relating to the tour, as well as then left a considerable amount of time between me addressing the events as it related to the tour and like possibly getting back into conversations with Trump supporters. And just know that I do take your opinion, seriously, and I agree that like allowing time between a discussion about the tour and then getting back into debates is important. And I think that is something that I've done. However, I do agree that continued conversation is also a good thing.
Also, one more thing, and I don't want this to sound insensitive either. If you do debate, whether it's tomorrow or today or whatever, why don't y'all do God debates or trans debates or LGBT debates anymore? Is there like, because I kind of miss those.
So you can't really say the word gay on TikTok without getting a flag or a ban.
Oh, did I say it? Oh,
no, I just said it. I feel like you could say it like maybe once or twice and fly under their radar. You definitely cannot say TRANS on the live without getting.
oh, I'm
taken down or
sorry.
banned.
I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. You could like I don't know. I feel like you say
I
it
probably
once, you
knew
say it
that. I'm
twice.
literally like, I'm in a different mindset right now, y'all. I'm in pain.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah,
good.
I don't want to take up your time. So if I got a job, I'm a job. I don't want to stay up here too long.
No worries. But just as it relates to like those first 2 points, I actually like really miss the days when I could have like full length discussions as it related to like the LGBT plus community. In fact, I think that the fact that TikTok straight up like silences anybody's ability from being able to advocate whatsoever is just like fucking like disgusting. And then as it relates to like God debates, I mean, those somewhat come up in conversations as it relates to politics, but like at the same time, I've honestly just gotten to a point where having conversations with theists about their religious beliefs insofar as why they hold them and why I may disagree, becomes just so insufferable for me. It's I probably spent like a collective of like 5 months focused on God debates. And at this point, hearing like the same thing over and over and over again is, it rattles my brain because I don't think that for like the average theist, the average individual that believes in a God, that there's much like logic and or rational reason behind said belief. Even less than like maybe a support for Trump, which is like crazy to say. And it like honestly, the theist debates just kind of like lost their interest for me.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
But
And now it's like I've kind of like reshifted them around from saying, well, I believe that your religion is false, to rather saying, okay, you believe that your religion is true. How could we adequately consolidate the belief that your belief in religion is justified while also not infringing upon like the lives of others?
all right.
Yeah. But hey, I really appreciate you for your time. Thanks for being respectful and voicing your opinions.
No problem. Have a good day, y'all.
Have a good one. Have a good one. Okay. All right. I really have to use the restroom. I'm not gonna lie. I really have to use a restroom, like really bad. So I might go and do that real quick. Oh, now you're leaving? Well, I'm thinking that there's a way that I could go use the restroom.
I'm
What's
here
up, man?
because you can pee.
Yeah, you wanna hang out with the chat for like
That's
a
why
minute
I'm
real quick?
here. Yes, that's why I'm here. I knew as soon as he said, like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna come up so you can go pee.
Dude, did somebody in the chat just say that take us with bro? Dude,
Take
you're
us with-
unreal.
Well,
Just
that's
at this point, just like ban every person. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. How you doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Are y'all doing anything good on this
wonderful Friday? Anything? Y'all partying, going out, seeing the world? Because I'm not. I'm staying home. I'm staying home. Watching TV, yeah. Sports day, very nice, very nice. Folding laundry, okay, yeah. W adulting. W adulting. How am I feeling? I'm okay, thank you for asking. Hey, thank you, Adam, thank you. Thank you, Adam, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Cassie. Sorry, the chat's going by pretty fast. Someone had to work. Oh, it's Saturday for you? Oh, okay, well, lucky you. Y'all are lucky. Still Friday night for me. Friday evening. Playing a FIFA, very nice. Well, and my chat. Okay, there it is. Had to do chores. Oh God, I hate chores. I hate them so much. All right, Dean is back. Okay. Oh yes, Mother's Day weekend. Of course it is. Yes, of course it is. Okay. All right.
I washed my hands. I washed my hands. Quite frankly, I
Cap.
washed the hands.
He says it, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh no, hey Matt, man, I appreciate you for coming up.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. You have a good live. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate
Yep.
it. Have a good
Bye,
rest of your
dude.
day.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Quite frankly. Oh, guys, I am really lightheaded today. L. Dean. Fun fact, when I'm on YouTube and I go to use the restroom and I come back, the whole chat is spamming Eldeans. Did I eat? Yeah, I ate some food. I ate some food earlier. And look at this. I got my Uncrustable. As per usual. Quite frankly. All right. Okay. Please do more topics on racism in the future. Your audience needs to be educated. Well, I went over this earlier. So me and my team have kind of developed a new content strategy. And basically, what's going to inevitably occur is I'm going to pivot away from just like the TikTok-focused debates to a more like well-rounded approach on issues that hurt people. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the underlying motivation behind the political debates on TikTok. But basically, like kind of what we've come up with is less TikTok focused, more YouTube focused, and not just having debates, but also going over breaking news, and then just important issues, not just in America, but on the global scale. Rana, thank you so much for the galaxy. And yeah. We are dying. There needs to be a sense of urgency to our issues. Yeah, I agree. And like that's the primary motivation behind kind of reshaping the content strategy. 110%. Somebody in the chat says, so no more lives? No, we'll still do live streams, but the live streams won't just be 4 hours of debates, if that makes any sense. Of course, we'll still be doing debates. However, it's just also going to include more conversations relating to breaking news, sharing my perspective, as well as just critical issues. What's your view on Pakistan and India? I don't have one because I know nothing about it. Nothing at all, quite frankly. But don't worry. By this time tomorrow, I will be informed enough to give like a preliminary stance. Yeah. I'll be informed enough to give a preliminary stance by this time tomorrow. Dean, do you like the new Pope? Pope Leo XIV. Here's my takes on Pope Leo XIV. It's undeniable that he holds some views that are typical and or traditional of the Catholic Church that I disagree with. However, comparing Leo to other options that were in the run for the papacy, I'd say that he's better than most. Now, of course, there were a couple options that were a little bit better than him, I think that there was like two options of individuals that were even more quote unquote woke or liberal than he is. However, he's definitely not the worst.